Are you inspired by Snake Eyes and his immaculate play, and yet, in spite of all your inspiration, you go online and you just can't seem to get consistent wins with Zangief? Well, in this video, we're going to go over 3 reasons why you're losing with Zangief, so let's get straight to it. All that being said, if you want to see more content like this on the channel, then be sure as always to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get straight to the first point. A lot of us tend to overextend and overinvest to the point where we lose everything and earn no value whatsoever. And that's likely the case with Zangief. Whenever you're playing Zangief, of course your mission is to get in, get the throw, and then now your opponent has to start guessing. And that's really where the fun starts. However, everything begins before that. That is, everything begins in neutral, everything begins with your fundamentals. And so if you find yourself losing a lot more than you should, it's likely because you're trying to do too many things and it's giving you no return in value. So instead of trying to be flashy, doing all these cool, fancy drive rush combos, really just try to simplify your approach first. Think about ways to open up the opponent by just simply walking forward, counter poking, whiff punishing, and then once you start to see the patterns that your opponent is trying to apply, then you can exploit those patterns, and then you can start to open up your repertoire of combos and setups. But before all that, if you're just doing too much and you're giving away all your information, then the opponent's going to just take that away from you, and as a result, you're going to lose. So think about that as you move forward in every single match. Take things slow. You don't have to go crazy and fast forward button all the way through to victory. It really is just trying to be fundamentally sound in your game. Once you have that down, you should be good. Now, that being said, let's move on to the second point. But before that, a word from our partner. Are you an aspiring game designer looking to land a position in the industry creating fighting games and characters? Then look no further than Pixel Helmet, a website dedicated to teaching you hands-on how to utilize the latest software in the industry to help you achieve your goals. In the Unreal Engine 5 Complete Beginner's course, you'll learn how to utilize UE5 from scratch, learning how to do character movement and animations, applying and adjusting textures and materials within the engine, lighting and audio, level design, and much more. The course comes jam-packed with 78 lessons to dive into and a devoted Discord community to provide constructive feedback. By the end of this course, you'll have learned the fundamentals of UE5 by creating a realistic and captivating game-ready environment to dive straight into. If this sounds great to you, then sign up now by clicking the link in the pinned comments. What are you waiting for? This is your opportunity to elevate your game to the next level by enrolling now. Pixel Helmet is the gateway to your dreams becoming a reality. Now, let's get back to the content. Everyone and their mom knows the strategy behind Zangief, and that he wants to get in, he wants to go for a throw, and then pretty much have you sit there for a mix-up. Same thing with Manat. They're both grapplers, and grapplers are always trying to get in, and so you, the Zangief player, are likely losing because you're too predictable in your strategy. Because everyone knows what you're trying to do, you really have to try and mix things up. And that really comes down to, again, using your fundamental strategies, using sound and simple approaches to get in and try to open up the opponent. Now, jumping in and using the same types of moves as your approach, you're using standing fierce, or you're jumping in with your knee, you're doing too many predictable things that really just, again, it puts information in the opponent's head, knowing that, oh, okay, well, this Zangief player is always going to jump in with this button or this particular move. Oh, okay, they're always going to drive rush in and do this particular move afterward. So now the opponent knows that you're always going to drive rush and crouching medium punch, or you're always going to drive rush and do a standing heavy kick. So now they're going to perfect parry you, they're going to neutral jump you, they're going to backdash, They're going to DI perhaps. They're going to do a lot of things to counter your approach and strategy. So this is where you have to be a little bit more creative in simplifying the way in which you engage. Now, all this being said, of course, it's not easy to do so, especially when you're up against specific characters who can easily nullify Zangief's approach. But this, again, comes down to you, the player, and you really have to nail your game plan. You have to understand the matchup a little more carefully, and just know that most players are going to understand what your strategy will be, or at least they'll anticipate it. And so you need to try and figure out a way to burst that bubble of anticipation and be a little bit more, again, unpredictable in your approach. Which leads us to the last and final point. When you watch the master at work, Snake Eyes, you see that he's so meticulous in everything that he does, and he makes everything look so simple, and yet when you try to go into your match and replicate it, you fail miserably. And the reason is because, first of all, you're not Snake Eyes, but second, you lack self-control. You lack discipline and patience, and this is really where Zangief players tend to falter. You lose patience when you start to realize the opponent is basically anticipating all of your moves, and now your options are running low. And so instead of being calm, cool, and collected, and really trying to think of new ways as you approach the matchup, you're now growing more impatient. You're now jumping in more. You're now throwing out normals that you normally wouldn't do, because now you're desperate. You're looking for a way to get in. You're looking to get the throw. You're looking to put on damage. But in doing so, all you're really doing is just you're killing yourself. You're digging yourself a bigger hole, and the opponent now is laughing because rather than you being the one who should be laughing to the bank, they're the ones now sitting back, relaxing, waiting for you to make every mistake possible. So how do you overcome all of this? Well, for one, building patience takes time. Having the self-discipline takes time. This really comes down to analyzing your own self-behavior, knowing what irritates you, knowing the certain behavior patterns in your own gameplay. Learning to analyze yourself can really help you become a better Geef player, because at the end of the day, patience is what will yield greater results with this character. Because most characters in Street Fighter 6 right now have a lot of tools that can really keep Zangief at bay. So you, the player, have to think, I need to be a lot more patient than the opponent. It becomes a battle of attrition more than just a battle of, I'm going to jump in and get a throw. It's now a really meticulous task of you walking forward inch by inch, really just gauging your distance. And when you find that right opportunity to counter poke, to whiff punish, then you really have to maximize and really take advantage of your conversions as swiftly as possible, and therefore drown the enemy in pressure. So all that being said, I hope that these 3 reasons have given you some insight as to what you need to work on, and look forward to more content like this down the road. As always rather, if you like the content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you folks on the next video. As always, New Warriors, stay strong and keep fighting. Peace.